First of all, congratulations with your new Center for Global Business. I am certain that the center will bring high value to your students and stimulate private business in this region. It is a win-win for the university and for the private companies. Your new center is an excellent picture of the innovation happening when academia, business, and public institution plays optimally together. Danfoss' active role in the new Global Business Center is very forward-looking and an example to follow. It is this kind of private-public partnership that makes Denmark unique. In fact, it is the foundation of our shared welfare state and high quality life. Private-public partnerships are a fundamental pillar for me as a minister. I see it as a tool for my most prominent task, which is to secure employment and growth for all Danes. Having a job is crucial for a good life for all of us. Therefore, we need to constantly develop our society so that Danish companies have optimal conditions for creating jobs by selling their solution in the global marketplace. By uniting the force of private companies, public institutions, and university, we reach this distinctive Danish model that can secure the competitive private sector, promoting growth and employment. A central element is well-educated young people meeting the demands of the private sector. Let me give a practical example of the importance of the interplay between the education, exports, and jobs. I recently visited Esbjerg, the hometown of the booming offshore industry. Today, 27,000 Danes work within the offshore sector. There is a potential to double this figure to above 50,000 people employed by 2020. The growth engine for the Danish offshore sector is export. Export currently amount to 50% of the sector's turnover, with amount to more than 110 billion Danish kroner annually. This sounds like, or could sound like, a true Danish fairy tale, and indeed it is. However, we cannot be sure to reach the happy end and the amount of employee that I mentioned just before. Danish offshore companies face severe difficulty when it comes to identifying qualified personnel. Often they need highly educated technicians and engineers, not available in sufficient numbers in Denmark at the moment. Unless we solve this challenge, Denmark will not fulfill our ultimate potential for creating jobs, for creating export. The new Center for Global Business here in Sønderborg is part of the solution to this. Your students and your research are much needed in the private enterprises. You will take us one important step closer to reaching our job creation and export potential. You have called the new center the Danfoss Center of Global Business. It's a good name because today's markets are truly global. And for Denmark's economy to grow, our companies must be able to compete globally. Export is simply essential. This cannot be said too often. Since 1979, the number of employees in Denmark due to export has grown from 500,000 to around 700,000 people today. Export has been the primary engine for growth in the Danish economy over the last 40 years. One of the biggest challenges to our efforts or export this year is that we have seen very limited growth in our traditional export markets. We now experience that the vast majority of growth take place in the new emerging markets that for many companies might be very different and might be very difficult to reach out for. Economists agree that 90% of the global growth towards 2015 will take place outside Europe. If you look at China and India today, they sum up together to 1/3 of the economy of the OECD countries. In 2060, the two economies together are expected to be bigger than the total OECD economy. Therefore, we need to further expand our relation with the growth market. The growth market effort has been very high on the agenda of the government over the last 2 years and still is. Germany and Sweden have, for the last 10 years, been performing better than Denmark when it comes to export to the new growth markets. Since 2012, this tendency has luckily been turned around. Danish companies are now catching up on our neighbors and gaining market share in the growth market. And the government is determined to further support this development in the coming years. There is no doubt that more Danish companies could and should be active on the growth markets. University should look into the option of establishing closer relationship with the emerging markets. In this view, it makes perfect sense that you here in Sønderborg have established close links with China, and I'm happy to be able to discuss your China focus efforts with you today. Having underlined the significance of the new growth market, it is important for me to emphasize that we must not forget our well-established and large export markets in our close proximity. You know better than anyone about the importance of the relation with our neighboring countries. It is impressive how you at the university are capable of working across border. Please continue to do that with full speed. The Minister of Foreign Affairs is currently drafting an action plan for further enhance our cooperation and commercial relation with the high volume markets such as Germany. We focus on all sectors where Denmark holds a strong position in Germany. During March and prior to my trip to Germany, I will launch a catalogue of initiatives that aim supporting Danish export to Germany, as well as German investments in Denmark. I'm convinced that the German market has an additional potential for Danish companies, and it is my ambition to help securing more business south of the German border for Danish businesses. I have given my ministerial term the title Economic Diplomacy. In the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, we are currently fine-tuning our toolbox to service the Danish private sector even better. This means, for instance, that we put more focus on supporting the growth in Africa by facilitating the assistance of Danish business competences, that our ambassadors help Danish companies on Asian market to find their way through bureaucracy and formalities, and that we place Denmark close to the center of the EU to secure the companies on a strong international market. This is very much in line with the spirit of your new Center for Global Business. I think we completely complement each other in an excellent way, and I look forward to cooperating with you. I wish you success with the center. Thank you very much.